Hey there, squirrels. It's time to finish this doggone book. If it'll come up. Kate's Choice. Okay. Santa Claus had just come down the hearth, he said. He stepped out upon the hearth, saying in a half gruff, half merry tone, I call this a most inhospitable way to receive me. What do you mean by stopping up my favorite chimney? Never mind, I'll forgive you, for this is an unusual occasion. Here, some of you fellas lend a hand and help me out with my sack. A dozen pair of hands had the great bag out in a minute, and lugging it to the middle of the hall, left it beside St. Nick while the boys fell back into the eager laughing crowd that surrounded the newcomer. Where's my girl? I want my Kate, said the saint, and when she went to him he took a base advantage of his years and kissed her in spite of the beard. That's not fair, whispered Kate, as rosy as the holly berries in her hair. Can't help it. Must have some reward for sticking in that horrid chimney so long, answered Santa Claus, looking as roguish as any boy. Then he added aloud, I've got something for everybody, so make a big ring, and the good fairy will hand round the gifts. With that, he dived into his bag and brought out treasure after treasure, some fine, some funny, many useful, and all appropriate, for the good fairy seemed to have guessed what each one wanted. Shouts of laughter greeted the droll remarks of the jolly saint, for he had a joke about everything, and people were quite exhausted by the time the bottom of the sack was reached. Now then, a rousing good game of blind man's buff, and then this little family must go to bed, for it's past 11. As he spoke, the saint cast off his cap and beard, fur coat, and big boots, and proceeded to dance a double shuffle with great vigor and skill, while the little ones, who had been thoroughly mystified, shouted, Why, it's Alf! And fell upon him en masse as the best way of expressing their delight at his successful performance of that immortal part. The game of blind man's buff that followed was a rouser in every sense of the word, for the gentlemen joined, and the children flew about like a flock of chickens when hawks are abroad. Such peals of laughter, such shouts of fan, and such racing and scrambling. Well, dang it, what happened? Okay, such racing and scrambling that old Hall had never seen before. Kate was so hunted that she finally took refuge behind Grandma's chair and stood there looking at the lively scene, her face full of happiness, as she remembered that it was her work. The going to bed that night was the best joke of all, for though Kate's arrangements were peculiar, everyone voted that they were capital. There were many rooms, but not enough for all to have one apiece, so the uncles and aunts had the 4 big chambers. All the boys were ordered into the great playroom, where beds were made on the floor and a great fire blazing, that the damping out might be as comfortable as possible. The nursery was devoted to the girls, and the little ones were sprinkled round wherever a snug corner was found. How the riotous flock wherever got into their heels, no one knows. I'm not sure. I guess they just got in their beds. The lads caroused until long past midnight, and no knocking on the walls of paternal boots or whispered entreaties of maternal voices through keyholes had any effect, for it was impossible to resist the present advantages for a grand Christmas rampage. The girls giggled and gossiped, told secrets, and laid plans more quietly, while the small things tumbled into bed and went to sleep at once, quite used up with the festivities of this remarkable day. Grandma, down in her own cozy room, sat listening to the blithe noises with a smile on her face, for the past seemed to have come back again, and her own boys and girls to be frolicking above there as they used to do 40 years ago. It's all so beautiful I can't go to bed, Dolly, and lose any of it. They'll go away tomorrow, and I may never see them any more, she said, as Dolly tied on her nightcap and brought her slippers. Yes, you will, Mum. That dear child has made it so pleasant. They can't keep away. You'll see plenty of them, if they carry out half the plans they've made. Mrs. George wants to come up and pass the summer here. Mr. Tom says he shall send his boys to school here, and every girl among them has promised Kate to make her a long visit. The thing is done, Mum, and you'll never be lonely anymore. Thank God for that, and Grandma bent her head as if she had received a great blessing. Dolly, I want to go and look at those children. It seems so like a dream to have them here. I must be sure of it, said Grandma, folding her wrapper about her and getting up with great decision. Massy on us, Mum, you haven't been up them stairs for months. The dears are all right, warm as toast and sleeping like dormice. I'll warrant, answered Dolly, taken aback at this new whim of old Madam's, but Grandma would go. So Dolly gave her an arm, and together the two old friends hobbled up the wide stairs and peeped in at the precious children. The lads looked like a camp of weary warriors reposing after a victory, and Grandma went laughing away when she had taken a proud survey of this promising portion of the rising generations. The nursery was like a little convent full of rosy nuns sleeping peacefully, while a pictured St. Agnes with her lambs smiled on them from the wall, and the firelight flickered over the white figures and sweet faces as if the sight were too fair to be lost in darkness. The little ones lay about promiscuously, looking like dissipated cupids with sugar hearts and faded roses still clutched in their chubby hands. My darlings, whispered Grandma, lingering fondly over them to cover a pair of rosy feet, put back a pile of tumbled curls, or kiss a little mouth still smiling in its sleep. But when she came to the coldest corner of the room, where Kate lay on the hardest mattress under the thinnest quilt, the old lady's eyes were full of tender tears, and forgetting the stiff joints that bent so painfully, she knelt slowly down, putting her arms about the girl, blessed her in silence for the happiness she had given one old heart. Kate woke at once and started up, exclaiming with a smile, "Why, Grandma, I was dreaming about an angel, and you look like one with your white gown and silvery hair." "No, dear, you're the angel in this house. How can I ever give you up?" answered Madam, holding fast the treasure that came to her so late. "You never need to, Grandma, for I have made my choice." You knew she would. And that's it. The next story is called Huckleberry, also published in 1874. See you later, gators. Squirrels. I know that was really short. Should have finished it up last night. I was just give out. Love y'all bunches. Mwah. Be sweet. Don't be ugly. Bye-bye.